All right, concept 3, you can find most of this on the chart on page 16. So number 1 is list the monomers and polymers of carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, nucleic acids, and include the elements that make them up. So I would probably do a little chart here, and I would do carbohydrates, and I would do lipids. There's many different ways you could list them. I'm just going to go make a chart. Proteins and nucleic acids. All right, so I'm going to put an M for monomer. And so this is going to be your monosaccharide. Lipids, we're going to say fatty acids and glycerol. Proteins is amino acids. And nucleic acid is nucleotides. Polymer, I'm going to do P. This is going to be your polysaccharides. This is going to be your, it could be a fat, an oil, or a phospholipid. Phospholipid. Your protein, we call them polypeptide. And nucleic acid is just your nucleic acid. All right, and then the elements. So I'm going to say E. Carbohydrates and lipids are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. And proteins, you have carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfate. And carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and phosphorus. Now, what you may want to note up here is you need to be able to recognize a picture of the monomers. So you need to be able to recognize the picture of the monomer. That's why you have them on your chart, okay? So then it said explain the major functions of each. So we're going to start, I'm going to put a C for carbohydrates. They are short-term energy storage. No, just short-term energy. We're not storing. All right, lipids. Put an L for lipids. Long-term energy storage. So carbohydrates is for immediate use. Lipids, it's for storing energy for later. Proteins, there are many. So proteins, I'm going to put most diverse because it has the most functions. So you could say regulate cell processes, transport substances, and speed up chemical reactions are just a few for proteins. And then your nucleic acids, they are never broken down, and they are for storing and transmitting what we call hereditary or genetic information. Very important, proteins are the most diverse, okay? So you may want to highlight or underline that. Provide an example of each type of macromolecule. And so here again, you may see this. So for carbohydrate, glucose. You may see starch. You may see cellulose. Those are carbohydrates. Lipids, phospholipids. You may see steroids or hormones. Proteins, collagen, insulin, hemoglobin are examples that you may see. And then nucleic acids, you only have the choice of DNA or RNA. All right, so you got that checked? All right. All right, list the order in which they consume. It's the order on the chart. So you have carbs, lipids, proteins, never nucleic acids. All right, now everybody will want to fill this one in. So Braden, you may want to check number 5 on concept 3. Braden. Camden, go wake up. Because he may or may not have this. Number 5 on concept 3, you may or may not have. All right, so the structure. So for explain, you could draw a picture, and you could put here, you could have a hydrophilic head, hydrophobic tail, and this is made up of lipids, and this is made up of glycerol and phosphate. So that's structure. Location. Location is cell membrane, cell or plasma membrane. So the purpose of phospholipids is for support and controlling what enters and leaves the cell. All right, so that's concept 3. So you can have questions on your test tomorrow that involve any of this. You may, notice I added a note up here, be able to recognize pictures of the monomers. So you want to review that chart. Important is that proteins are diverse. They have many different functions. They are very diverse. And then knowing this information here on phospholipids. Just a minute. Now, I'm going to give you a few minutes to work on concept 4. There are 4 questions here. This is on enzymes, so that's going to be on page 17 and 18, because we had a set of notes. So pages 17 and 18, probably more 18 than 17. So you'll want the function, draw and label energy diagrams. That's in your notes. Make sure you label them. There are 5 factors that can affect the rate of chemical reactions. And then your lock and key model, get that straight out of your notes. So I'm going to give you some time to do that. And then we will go over it in about 10-15 minutes.